Hey everybody, welcome to this week and today's edition of a show we like to call The Cheap Seats.
The cheap seats.
My name is Frank Holder. I'm here with comedian Fig. Comedian talent is on his way. If you're not too sure about the show, this is what the show is. The show is comedy and sports. We have comedians come on. They talk about, funny stuff about as they perceive it in sports. So with that being said, we're going to jump in. Oh, you know what? I forgot to even mention this segment that I'm looking forward to, Fig. And we started it last week because it was very funny. We even have you at home. You have the chance to come in, and if you have a saying that you want to agree or disagree with one of these panelists on the, you can call in. And it'll be a video chat, so you got to be prepared with that. You'll be able to dial in. We'll plug you away, and you can agree or disagree with talent or Fig and go from there. Also, on today's show, we have 15-year NBA veteran Olden Polynice joining the show. I'm real excited about that.
15 years.
15 years. He gets it in. 15 years. But anyway, let's jump into the show. We always got to start off with today's hot topics. And I think today's hot topics is we are going to talk about the NBA when Olden gets in because the NBA playoffs is today. But Fig, today, there was some news that jumped off about the Washington team, no longer called the Washington Redskins. They hired former NFL player Jason Wright as the team president. Is this significant to you having him come on as team president? Or do you think, maybe that happened because it's Black Lives Matter going on right now, and it's also in Washington. You know what I mean? So what's your thoughts on that?
Man, I think it's a combination of the two, the Black Lives Matter and the fact that they hired a black man at such a high position for the Redskins the former Redskins organization, the team formerly known as the Redskins. It's big, man. That's big. The fact that they hired him, man, because the owner was just like, man, he was hard pressed to say, man, I'm never gonna change the name of my organization. And with this stance that he took, you think the last person that he would hire would be an African American at such a high position in his organization? I don't even know what are they just saying the Washington football team right now.
Right. They call it the Washington
football team. Yeah, man, it's.
Yeah, I think we lost it for a second. Go ahead. You were saying, Fig?
I don't know what's going on with this thing, man. My Wi-Fi, I'm paid up.
Okay, you sure you ain't borrowing your friends from next door like you was roasting Big Mike Friday?
No, man. I paid for mine. I need mine.
You were saying about the Washington.
Man, this is big for the Washington football team organization. Now, if they could just get their team together to be relevant, that would help a lot.
Right. I kind of agree with everything you said right now. I'm just wondering, will hiring him make a significant difference in the next 2 years, 3 years? Because, it takes time for the team to develop and takes time for them to get players and everything else to come in and develop. I don't know if we're going to see a difference. Another hot topic story today that jumped off is that, a college player, he wrote and he's basically stating that he wants the college football season to happen. Now, here's the thing, and if you're following at home, you already know. If you're not following at home, there's 5 conferences. 2 of the conferences are moving forward with not playing. And it's significant because normally everybody plays, and then they decide who's going to be the champion at the end of the season. Now, I'm kind of torn between this because I understand the thought process of the players, the college players, because some of them are seniors. They want to be able to play. It's their last year. I really feel bad for all the college players who are trying to be drafted. But unfortunately, that's 6 rounds of players, 3 rounds of players. I got to say, everybody's not trying to play so you can make sure you make it to the NFL. I think it's asinine, to be honest with you, to put everybody else at risk because, certain people want to make sure they get to the NFL. But what are your thoughts process on this, especially thinking that a couple of college players can write some petitions and think they're going to move, the entire college organization to move forward with playing college football?
Man, listen, it solidifies the point that I made a while ago about sometimes you need the parents to protect the kids from themselves. These are young men, you know what I mean, and I understand their position. But young men don't always make the greatest decisions as far as as far as their future is concerned. You know,
Right.
a lot of them are very short-sighted, and to decide that you want to play a football season during a pandemic for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. For free. This is not your livelihood. You're still technically a student athlete, and to decide that that's something that you want to do for free and to put your life in jeopardy just seems it just seems like one of those irresponsible decisions that young adults make on a consistent, or constantly, and that's why they need somebody looking out for them. They need the heads of these school organizations. They need the parents. They need everybody involved to make a decision. It would help. It would help a lot. You know what I mean? If our government had one plan for the entire country, but even our government is divided on this, man. So you got to look out for the kids. I think it doesn't make any sense for them to try and play this season right now, because every time there's some kind of crowd event, people come up testing positive for the COVID-19 virus, and it doesn't make sense to me.
Right. I think also it's confusing a lot of people. Some schools are allowing kids on campus and some schools aren't. So in certain areas too, you're going to see how crazy and ridiculous that is, because the hot spots are going to get hotter. And I think also that, when you're sending mixed messages to the kids and they don't see one person leading with direction and everything else, and there's going to be a lot of controversy with that, moving forward with that. But here, we talked about this last week too. When you're moving forward with the college season, with half of the college teams, it will affect the NFL because of the draft. I mean, what are your thoughts on you already stated that you think that they shouldn't do that, but should the NFL suspend the draft for the year and then pick it up for the following year? Because if you're an NFL team, how do you even really evaluate a real good college player, because you're using your pick, and those picks are extremely valuable. How you do that?
What I thought about it, which is kind of crazy. Well, my solution is that if you're going to go forward into the following year, and I'm not talking about this year, I'm talking about next year, just expand the combine.
Mm-hmm.
Make the combine longer and invite more players and make it a competition. Look, they got a lot of game shows where the best man win. You make it a competition, you expand the combine and you pick your players from there. I don't know, man. Somehow risking my life for a dollar just don't make sense to me. You know what I mean? Here's the thing. You risking your life to make millions of dollars, but what happened if you don't make it?
Right.
Like, what good is money if you're dead?
Right.
That's all. I'm like, you can't spend it. I mean, listen, the Egyptians tried that. They tried to die and take the money with them. It hadn't worked out. You know what I'm saying? It hadn't worked out for the Egyptians. So, and one of the cliches is that, I never saw an armored car following a hearse. You know what I mean? You can't take the money with you. So why don't you be safe, keep yourself safe, and then go into the season next year? That would help if the adults in the room would make the decision for our young people and made it a wise decision, so they wouldn't have to go out there and risk their life for the potential to make future earnings down the line. That just makes sense to me. But hey, what can I tell you? I'm a grown man, so these are decisions that I would make for my children if they was in the same position.
Right. All right. I'm with you. Now, being that the NFL, like I said, the NFL gets affected and is going to get affected, let's just ask the first question. Looks like baseball might shut down. Do you think the NFL might shut down for the year?
What? The NFL is even worse than baseball. Look, in baseball, you would think that like if outdoors was going to be a healthy thing to do, you would think that baseball would be the sport. I mean, they don't touch each other really. The only time they come close to each other if they're on base. You know what I mean? It's not everybody. Everybody is social distancing in baseball except for the dugout and the clubhouse. So this would seem to be the sport where you can really social distance. So if they're coming up positive, what do you think about these guys who are going to be on the line right next to each other? They be hugging, grabbing, tackling, grappling with each other. You know what I mean? Like it's a no-brainer. To me, it's a no-brainer. It just doesn't make sense unless they come up with a cure between now and the start of the NFL season. If they don't come up with a cure, I don't see it happening. I think they're going to listen. I do believe that not only do I believe that they're going to cancel it, I don't even believe it's going to start up. Look, they canceled the preseason games. I don't even know if there's going to be an NFL season this year.
Yeah, I'm kind of nervous about that too, especially since the NFL games are canceled. I'm worried if you're an NFL team, and how are you going to be able to evaluate the players who are already in-house, like right now? Not to mention, normally the NFL teams start with 90-man rosters. Now they're starting with 80, so they already 10 down now. And on top of that, no preseason. How do you evaluate the players you got? And you know me as a Patriots fan, I want to see Cam Newton get some scrimmage games in there. You know what I mean? I want to see, and I'm sure he wants to. I'm sure Jarrett Stidham and the rest of those guys want to at least get some reps in before the Miami game that kicks off the season. You know what I mean? But
the only person that's getting reps right now is Tom Brady.
Yeah, illegally.
Listen, okay, he said COVID nothing. I want to play till I'm 45. Let's go out here in this hot sun and throw this football around.
Right.
Tom Brady is the only one. He's the only person. Well, no, I did see Cam out there throwing balls. Yeah,
there are a couple of teams out there throwing balls. Jared Goff, I saw, playing. There's a couple of guys who are out there they're showing playing. It's still dangerous to be playing that sport right now. But if they, I guess.
But here's the thing, Frank. When you see it, it's basically maybe 10, 15 guys. Now we're talking about a 55-man roster?
53-man roster to start the season, right?
And then you add like supporting, like the coaches, the staff, the ball boys, you know what I mean? Your physical. You're talking about maybe 100 people.
You
mean to tell me now what is it? 32 teams in the NFL, 32. So now you're talking average 100 guys per team. We're talking about over 3,000 people, and then they're going to be traveling from state to state. Doesn't make sense. Listen, if you had the only thing that they could do is if they could set it up the way they did the Olympics, where they have like Olympic stadium, where they have like an area in it, like specifically for the athletes during the Olympics. If they could set up a system like that, a sort of loose bubble, if you will, like the NBA seems to be the only organization that got it right. They created a bubble. They sealed it tight. They said nobody in, nobody out. If you go out and you come back, you got to quarantine. And they had zero positive cases. Like it's a no. Like why wouldn't you follow that? If you're the Major League Baseball and you're the NFL, why wouldn't you follow a model that you know is working? It works. Follow that model.
Well, anyway, right now we're going to shift the conversation, as we was talking all the time. We're going to shift the conversation to the NBA, and we got 15-year NBA veteran.
15 years.
15 years. I mean, you can't even, bro. It's so hard for just to get 5 years in the NBA. Mr. Olden Polynice is joining the show right now. He got 15 dimes on everybody out there. He played for the Clippers, the Pistons, the Kings, the Utah Jazz, Seattle Supersonics. Did I miss anybody?
That's it. And I think he's being endorsed by Adidas. Is that an Adidas t-shirt? He got an endorsement.
Big O, thanks for joining the show, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me on.
I appreciate you, man. Now, I'm going to jump right in and ask you this, man, because we're going to take place asking questions, man. I got to ask you, and I'm going to try to put this in the nicest way possible without being, kind of crude. But do you see Portland beating down the Lakers in the first round of the NBA?
I see Portland beating them. I don't know about beating them down, but I do see the possibility of that because there's no home court advantage in this bubble. The slightest advantage might be for the Orlando Magic because they're in the city of Orlando. But other than that, no one has a clear-cut advantage. And so to me, the difference also is the fact that Portland has two all-star guards, in CJ McCollum and Dame Lillard, as well as Carmelo Anthony, who people had given up on. He's got a chip on his shoulder. So he's going up against his buddy LeBron. It's going to make for an exciting series.
Right. Go ahead, Fig. You got a question for him?
Yeah, man, I love what you're saying. So you actually saying that you believe that Portland has a chance to knock the Lakers off?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at it this way. Avery Bradley's not playing, who's probably their best defender.
Right.
LeBron, as great as he is, Father Time is going to catch up at some point in time. And we saw that during the 8 games in the bubble. He didn't play quite the way LeBron is used to playing.
Right.
And Davis is critical. Kyle Kuzma is going to be the X factor. But after that, what do you have? And so to me, I think Portland, believe it or not, has more weapons than the Lakers do.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now hold up, man. Listen, let me just go off the rails here. You played in the era where I believe basketball was basketball. I hate to call it old school because you know what I mean. We ain't old. You understand what I'm saying? We're not old, but old school basketball. Do you see the effect of the new players being able to do some of the stuff that they do now back in the day when defense was defense, Mr. Polynese?
Well, I think there are guys that could have played in our era. Not too many, but quite a few, and so to me, it's kind of like when we talk about slavery, it's like, well, I never could have been a slave back then. Well, you speaking from this point of view, not from when they were back there.
Right.
And so, and I akin that to, when we're saying that, well, those guys couldn't play back, but technically we don't know that. But I feel like there are guys that could have played in any era. And so that's how I look at it, and the game has to evolve. So I don't mind how the basketball game has become now. I do wish some of these guys would earn their contracts.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey,
I still don't mind it, because this is where we are right now.
Right.
I played in our era. I mean, he's big, physical, and strong. And it also brings up a good point. Nothing is new under the sun. We've seen LeBron-type athletes. We always want to say, well, we've never seen anything like that. But sheesh, Karl Malone was...
Yes, sir.
Karl Malone was huge.
The mailman.
And shoot. Come on now. We've seen shooters like Steph Curry. We've seen ball handlers like Kyrie, Isaiah Thomas, Tim Hardaway. They all had crossovers. Stop it. Nothing's new under the sun. It just evolves.
Right. We're sitting here. We're joining right now with 15-year NBA veteran Olden Polynese. He's joining the show. If you want to come in and you want to join the show, you can too. Olden is giving us all of his advice and thoughts on the NBA season. Talent just also recently joined the show. Before Talent jumps in.
Let's go to the club, let's go to the club, baby.
I want to say what club you talking about, but I'm gonna leave that for behind the scenes.
Before we jump into it, who's your biggest upset of the NBA season of the playoffs? Who do you see the big upset, or is it what we just already talked about? Is it the Portland taking the Lakers as the biggest upset?
I don't even want to be an upset. I see Oklahoma City beating Houston.
Oh,
upset. I mean, they're a 5th seed, so it's a slight upset. But I like how they're playing right now. I like what Chris Paul is doing, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I like everything about that team, and I think they have a chip on their shoulder because they were supposed to, they had a 0.2 chance of making the playoffs, and they were supposed to be a lottery team, and they end up being a 5th seed. So to me, that's a great story right there. And I think the fact that there's so much history between the two teams, and some, Harden and Russell Westbrook being former OKC guys, and Chris Paul having played in Houston. There's a lot of, and it's going to be exciting. A lot of tense moments we will have in this series.
Now, hold up, Fig, hold up. Oh, you just raised another question by that. I agree with you, first of all, but now, Frank, Fig, what do we say if this happens, right? If OKC takes out Houston, Frank, you like to always talk about breaking the team up. next year, what happens after that?
Yeah, that's very true. They get broke up. I think they get broke up immediately. Heads will roll. People get fired like immediately.
I think if Houston loses to OKC, we'll have to bring back Boys to Men so they can sing "End of the Road."
Listen, if Alvin Gentry loses his job, right, the way he lost his job, if he loses his job, there's going to be a whole lot more heads to roll. You know what I'm saying? Talent, you got the floor. You got a question for Big O?
I absolutely do. As soon as I see O, I get the club flashbacks. You know what I mean? I said this to y'all when I found out he was coming on the show. Nobody parties like NBA partiers. Like NBA ballers, I've partied with NFLers, hockey, like every sport I've partied with. When I say party, just go in a club and have a great time and forget who you are. No one does it like me, and O is in LA having a good time. Now, one thing about O, I stand 6'6", right? O, on paper, how tall are you, O?
On paper, 7 feet.
Okay, so you're 7 foot on paper. I'm 6'6",
and I'm 5'10" on a box.
Yeah, we'll talk to you when we talk checkers. So anyway, when you're playing ball, stand by, Fig. Checkers is next. I just want to ask O, and all the 7 footers you play, because you got a 15-year stint in the NBA, which is you don't really get to see that too much no more. You know what I mean? Like you're one of the great soldiers of the game and the big guy. Give me your top 3 7 footers that you dreaded going against.
Oh my goodness. Unfortunately, I don't have. I'm gonna give you 3, but it's like, okay, my first game was against Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Whoa.
Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson. Then about 2 days later, I get Akeem Olajuwon. Then I get Patrick Ewing. I'm like, come on, Lord, that's how it's gonna be. And I still haven't mentioned Shaq. I haven't mentioned Mutombo. I haven't mentioned Mourning. I haven't mentioned David Robinson.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
It was a much more competitive time, I tell you that.
Man, all I'm gonna say is this: we're gonna have to put some respect on Olden Polynice's name, because you spent 15 years in the NBA and those was your first 3. You had some skills. That's all I'm trying to say.
Right,
put some respect on that man's name.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
So, buddy, my thing was like, okay, so we played the Utah Jazz. I don't guard the center. I guard Karl Malone.
Wow.
Center, I guard Charles Barkley.
Right.
I be able to defend Barkley, those size guys, as well as, so whoever the best inside player was, that's who I guarded.
That's why you stayed there for 15 years, probably, right?
Right.
You that guy. You that guy. Like, we gonna have somebody take the elbows.
Damn, I made it really, really hard for them.
I bet you did. So, who you got winning the NBA championship this year, man? And because if they win this year in the bubble, do they get an asterisk next to their name?
No asterisk. And if there is an asterisk, the fact that they won in the bubble. I believe this is going to be similar to how it was in the 60s, you know, when the Celtics were winning championships. You got to put asterisks behind that because they were doing it during the civil rights movement.
Right.
Right.
It's a positive asterisk, you know,
right.
not one. And so for these guys to be playing in a pandemic, you know, being away from family and friends and not having the live, people forget how important fans are. You know, it's like, you know, like you, Talent, walk inside of a nightclub and there's like 5 people in there. What's the energy like as opposed to when the shit's packed? Excuse my language.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's an incredible feeling when there's people there, you know, get off of that. And so for them to be doing what they're doing, and you got to understand something, without the fans, I know they have the virtual fans, but the guys have really put it down. I was impressed by how competitive it's been.
Mm-hmm. Right. But you didn't say who you picked for the NBA championship.
And you know, I was trying to skip that one.
Yeah, I know you were.
Oh, man. I mean, the Clippers have a hard first round matchup with that, and it's scaring the crap out of me. You know, I still work for the Clippers, and it's like, God, I want us to win, but it's going to be a tough one. I have the Clippers coming out as well. It's going to be between, in the West, Clippers and Lakers, if they can get by the Trailblazers, and we get by the Mavericks. So that's the West. In the East, it's either Toronto or Milwaukee. If Giannis learned from last year, because Toronto had a game plan for him that really limited him. So if he's able to overcome any of that, then Milwaukee comes out. Okay, I'm going to go. Clippers. Clippers win the title.
You said the Clippers?
Clippers win the title.
All right, I just want to make sure for the record, because I said the Clippers too. And I'm a Celtics fan. I said the Clippers. I think the Clippers are going to take it.
Yeah, I got the Clippers winning it all.
Yeah, I got the Clippers winning it all.
I hated saying that because that's like that juju on them.
Yeah, I understand that too. But your boy right there in the corner, Talent made a Nostradamus pick. Talent, he said the Portland Trailblazers are going to shake up everybody and take the whole thing. And that's a possibility.
Them beating the Lakers, though. I definitely see them beating the Lakers.
Yeah.
If they but I think like basketball is all mental energy. So I think they'll be riding so high when they pull that off, they're going to be hard to beat.
Yeah. But you know what? Sometimes, Talent, that energy works against you. Sometimes when you beat that team, like say the Clippers beat the Lakers, they'd be on such a high, that beating the Lakers is such a high energy. Sometimes you have a let down after doing something like that.
Not coming from the eighth seed.
If I can correct you, no, it won't be a high. They expect to beat the Lakers if they match up.
Wow.
Really?
Wow.
Wow.
That's big. We need to drop the bomb on that one.
They Lakers like whatever, you know. It's like, hey, y'all ain't the Lakers of Showtime.
What you mean? Wait a minute. Hold on. You mean Kareem and Magic ain't gonna lace them up?
Nah, Magic ain't coming out walking through them doors, man.
Wow.
Hey, so here's my question. That's still NBA related, man. All three of us were talking about Mark Jackson. You know, he's floating around, man. Why is Mark Jackson not coaching an NBA team right now? Please tell me.
I can't sit on air.
Did you say he's a Jehovah's Witness? Who said that?
All right.
There's a lot of things that's happened within the whole Mark Jackson scenario, and you know he did get the job on ABC doing color analyst, but there's some other things that went down, man, and that I was privy to, but I can't really talk about it. But fortunately, I wish I could. But it's amazing when you look at that. You say to yourself, "Wait a minute, this guy basically made Steph and Clay who they are."
Right.
Where they are right now, a championship team. He built that championship team to where Steve Kerr won the title with.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Just say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna stay. And he still gets no credit for that, no love. And so to me, that's the question we need to be asking. You know, and it's a great question you pose, and people need to understand, why doesn't Mark Jackson have a job in the NBA? That's amazing to me. You know, so it has to be some underlying things, if you can get my gist. There has to be really deep underlying issues for this black man not to get a job in the NBA.
The only thing I can think of is the Jehovah's Witness. They knock on your door, everybody act like they're not home. Be quiet, get down. Everybody get down, be quiet. Nobody answer the door. Shh. Everybody shut up. They out there. They're like, hello, Jehovah. Shh. Everybody quiet now. That's the only thing that makes sense in this.
So you saying that's what happened to Mark?
Huh?
You said when Mark go for an interview, he put in his application. The NBA act like he's Jehovah's Witness. They be hiding.
Because Fig, the first rumor that came out of Golden State when they went in a different direction was that he had implemented some religious stuff with the team and the locker room and discipline and all that, and rubbed some people the wrong way. So we know it ain't Jesus. Because everybody, this is a Jesus country. You know, you can say Jesus and people keep it moving, but Jehovah is where they draw the line.
Well, I promised 15 minutes. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But before you go out there, can I ask you, what are you doing now? Tell everybody what you're doing now, because I know you still got your hands in the NBA. Can you tell everybody out there what's going on with you?
Well, just living life, man. You know, working. You know, I do appearances and stuff like that. I still do some work with the Clippers, with the youth basketball department, because I love, you know, working with young kids, teaching them the game, and also teaching them about life. You know, using the two, you know, together, because that's the thing. You know, it's like basketball opens the door to teach them about what's really important. And so those are the things I'm doing, just, you know, traveling. Again, you know, kids in college now, so always going to be a parent. You know, that's the job we never can retire from. And just trying to enjoy life, man. You know, we're in a crazy times now.
Well, I know. How do we follow you on social media? Are you on social media, and how do we follow you?
Social media, Olden Polonese, and, you know, my name. So on whatever platform.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm not as savvy as some of y'all, but, you know, I try.
He said, what are you doing now? All of those sentences, if I could translate, Olden was like, I'm just counting my money, man. I just,
yes.
You know, I get up and count my money from 8 to 12. I get something to eat, some lunch, and then I count the smaller bills at 1:30.
Listen, you heard me say I got kids. I'm divorced.
Let me, I ain't seen you in so long. Let me send a personal thank you for all those club nights that picked the tab up, yo.
Yeah.
Woo!
Said to me one night, the most humbling thing in the world. We was on, I think, what the hell was it? Highland, this club on Highland in LA. And he picked the tab up and we getting twisted. And we live in, shook my hand, said, you should let me pay for some of that. He said, man, you playing, you in a movie of a dude playing basketball. I play for real. I said, enough said.
There it is.
You know what it is? It's an honor for a black man to pick up the tab. You start telling a black man about a tab, he like, tab? I don't drink no tab. I drink Coca-Cola. Ain't no tab.
Oh, thank you for taking out the time, bro. I appreciate you.
But
I would take you off before they embarrass you anymore, bro.
That's my man right there. Hey, I'm gonna hit you up,
All right,
thank you, appreciate you.
That's a good dude, boy.
Okay,
that's
so
dope, man.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard Big O said on the air with us live. He said about Mark Jackson, and he said he think the Clippers are gonna take it. That's very significant. Oh, and let's also say that he also said about Mark Jackson that he should get the credit, because we, you know, as fans, we up here sit here and say, yeah, you would know he says that, but we ain't never heard it acknowledged on an NBA level. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That man said it.
You know what? As a matter of fact, Mark Jackson was the first person I ever heard that said Stephen Clay might be the best shooting backcourt in NBA history, and he started and they started calling them the Splash Brothers. This is before they won the title. This is before they was on anybody's radar.
Right. And let's also give credit to this. Big O played in the years when you banged down low, like you banged, like it wasn't
bang.
It wasn't
You know what I really wanted to ask him? I really wanted to ask him, does he think that LeBron James would be getting all them layups and dunks back in the old days in the 90s where they had the quarter blood technique, that when you went down there, you had to pay a price?
Well, you know what? When we get him back on, because we will get him back on, you can ask him again, because it's not like this ain't gonna be the first. I mean, this is the first, and ain't gonna be the last time we gonna talk to him. But now, guess what, fellas? Today's the NBA playoffs. Has anybody changed? Has anybody changed? Baby. I'm giving the floor is open. Has anybody changed their mind on any of the picks that's getting ready to happen in the NBA playoffs? Because a lot of teams are basically cracking up, because you know everything is everything today.
Well, I haven't changed my mind on most of the things. Only thing I changed is I was gonna watch the playoffs today with popcorn, but I think I'm gonna go with chips. All my picks are the same, but I just think that popcorn on the first day is kind of disrespectful. So I'm gonna wait to like game 3 and all these joints and break out the butter popcorn.
Butter popcorn. Now I'm gonna ask a question. Now listen, some people talk about popcorn. Some people don't just get popcorn and from the supermarket and pop it in their house. Stuff like some people actually go to the movies.
Yeah.
Buy their popcorn from the movie theater and then go back out and take it home.
That's me.
Wow. Okay, that's big.
Let me tell you something. I love movie popcorn so much, bro. I went to see movies I really didn't want to see.
Just to get the popcorn. So you trying to say you went to see Cornbread, Earl, and Me in the movies?
He went way back.
But that's a true story, though. I've sat at least 5 times in a movie, and you know how they show the preview after the preview comes on. I go, I wonder what this is about.
Yeah.
Everybody else is there. They know what they're there to see, but I'm in this big, large bucket of popcorn, man. That's my thing at the movies, man.
Yeah, I understand. So let me ask you guys this, man. If you're sitting at home and you're a member of the Phoenix Suns, right, and you saying you just wrapped up 8-0, you just lights out, do you feel disrespected because if you didn't get the chance to make the playoffs? Are you feeling like you know basically that it wasn't fair and the NBA should do something for you special, like how they did the Portland Trailblazers in the West? You got a one-off. You think they should do that if you're a member of the Phoenix Suns, especially with let's be honest, Devin Booker is a beast. I think that the NBA would have did well by saying, oh, you know what, we need to figure out a way how we get Phoenix in this mix. That's just my thought.
Hell no. I think they did the right thing. I mean, come on, man. If you grew up on the NBA, we've watched lights out players never make it to the playoffs. Sir. Because of the team that they may happen to be on. It's the luck of the draw. You know what I mean? It's like, remember they used to call Harold Miner Baby Jordan?
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? And he ain't do nothing but just do like nice highlights on the floor. But he was the most talked about for about a 2-3 year span, and they had the nerve to dub him Baby Jordan.
Right.
When the playoffs came around and they only make it, sit your ass down. That's it.
Right.
Just at the end of the bench.
Right.
And the stroller, Baby Jordan.
What you think, Frank?
You know what? Yo, Frank, let me rewind for a minute, man. Yo, I know for a fact that Talent loves movie popcorn, and it just struck me. One time me and Talent was on a tour upstate New York, and we went to the movies, and you never guess we went to see. We went to see Tarzan.
Y'all had to be really bored.
In the movies. It was in the afternoon. We was on tour. There's nothing to do during the day. Talent,
right.
Let's go to the movies. We went to see Tarzan, and he got the big bucket of popcorn.
Now,
exactly.
Unbelievable.
That's real though.
So Fig, what do you think about the Phoenix Suns, man? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, man. The Phoenix Suns, man. I would have loved to have seen them in the playoffs because of the way that they play. Man, they went 8-0, and I wanted to see. When sometimes some seasons a team would catch lightning in a bottle, and I wanted to see them be able to do that, man, and play against some of the elite teams in the playoffs to see if they can continue that. But it's a numbers game. You know what I mean? Yeah. And they didn't have the numbers. They Portland was ahead of them in the numbers. There was during the regular season before we went on this COVID hiatus, and it's just at the end of the day, it's just the luck of the draw. But here's the good part. I think NBA has a formula for continuing future NBA seasons, even if this COVID thing is not over. So I think Phoenix got an opportunity to taste that success against some of the elite teams. And I think that'll carry over the next season because these guys are only growing and they getting better. So I think it's going to carry over the next season. And let me tell you something. I would not want to see Phoenix next year because they got Monty Williams. They got some young players. They got horses. Yeah. They got Devin Williams. They got Ayton. You know what I mean? And that kid is coming along. Look, they're going to be a hard out. That's all I'm saying from next season.
Right. Speaking of which, speaking of next season, are there some teams out there that you'd be more excited? You're excited to see what the potential is, like a New Orleans Saints, and because they just fired their head coach. And I'll be honest with you, I don't think he got a fair shot because Zion got injured. You know what I mean?
You really hate the Pelicans, don't you?
I love the Pelicans. I just
you call them the Saints, so that's why
I meant the Pelicans. Pelicans, yeah. But why did he fire their coach? Why did he fire him, man? I didn't understand. I didn't understand the thought process of firing him when everybody sitting there saying, listen, AD left, right? He kept the team floating. AD left, and then Zion comes in, and then he gets injured, but he still had the team competitive, and you didn't give the man a chance to have everybody there together with
everybody healthy.
Yeah, like give him at least one shot. That's my thought process.
I think what's happening now is we're watching, to be honest with you, we're watching cancel culture come over into sports. And what's happening with the fan base and management is every time we do something less than we're expected to, somebody got to fall on the sword. You know what I mean? It's a cancel culture coming in here. Instead of giving you, we know how it goes. Hey, give them time. They building. They got injuries, blah, blah, blah. But to appease the quiet minds and the fandom, it's like we got to do something. You can't go from season to season without doing something. So you're going to jump on somebody, and he fell on the sword. They're going to pick somebody.
All right. Well, right now, this is the time of the show where we said that what we're going to do is we're going to give fans the opportunity to call in and dial in and just see what they want to say. Now we got somebody who's dialing in. He got to say whatever he got to say with us. So looks like his name is Tony. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, fellas?
So,
what up, Tony?
All right.
So, agree or disagree? What's your comment? What's your statement?
What's the question? What was it? Disagreed on what? I didn't even get to hear it. I was doing.
That's my favorite type of fan. We're talking about right now. We're talking about the Pelicans firing their head coach. We say right now, should they have given him at least a chance to be able to at least get a season under his belt before they let him go? Because Zion got let go. You know what I mean? Like Zion was just. They shouldn't have let Zion go. They shouldn't have let the coach go. Zion got injured. You know what I mean? So that's the top.
Yeah, he didn't get a fair shake. I don't think he got a fair shake, man. The dude been gone. He didn't really know who he was working with or what type of caliber team he was working with without Zion over there, man.
Mm-hmm,
should have gave him a chance, Then with this going on, he really ain't get a chance.
Right.
They totally did him dirty, man.
You hear that, Fig? You hear that talent? He said they did him dirty. I was trying to say the same thing. Before we let you go, I want to go ahead. Would you say, talent?
No, I agree. I mean, I don't agree with what they did. I'm starting to see and understand why they do what they do. Cancel culture, this is going on in entertainment across the board. Mm-hmm. And now it's starting to seep into the sports that we're watching a lot of musical chairs, so to speak. We're still on here every day trying to figure Mark Jackson out.
Right. Yeah, right. So, Tony, thank you for dialing in. But before you go, who you got winning the NBA championship this year?
Man, I ain't even really zoned in all the way live because it's just like, do y'all get the same excitement watching it right now, or you're just going through the motions?
To be honest with you, I'm not as thrilled
with the virtual crowd and all of this going on.
Yeah, I'm not as thrilled, but it is what it is. I still like
the virtual crowd. I seen a couple of bad chicks in there.
Yes, sir. I did. I tried to ignore them because I'm
watching the game for all the wrong reasons.
All the wrong reasons, man. You ain't focused. That's what I'm saying. You just going through the motions.
Yo, man, but you know what? I gotta admit, I didn't like all of the games. When the games are like blown out and stuff like that. Those are not my games. But I tell you this, there have been some competitive games, man. Especially the ones that the Trailblazers was playing. Especially when they played the Nets. Oh,
Damian Lillard been
that was
busy.
A barn burner, man.
Yeah,
that was a barn burner. When Portland played the Clippers, I was like, these cats is going at it. So now we get to playoffs. I think what's happening, they're going to turn it all the way up. A different kind of season. They're going to turn it all the way up. I'm looking forward to today because they got 4 games. This is a quadruple day, and then tomorrow is when the Lakers start. So this is going to be the season.
So they've been getting busy. I ain't watched too many of the games, but you say they've been getting busy.
A lot of close ones. Tight.
Yeah, I caught a
Hey, Tony.
game. Yeah.
Tony, I'm gonna tell you what you gotta look out for, bro. Portland Trailblazers with Carmelo and Lillard and McCollum, they're the 8th seed and looking to upset the Lakers who are the 1 seed. What? Now that's going to be the series to watch.
A lot of people been talking
And
about
also-
Portland. They've been talking about Portland. They
Yeah.
said Damian been over there, Ellen over there.
And you got to watch the Clippers going up against Dallas because Dallas got some players over there too. That's going to be a dope series.
So y'all trying to say it's interesting. It been
Yes,
interesting.
sir.
Okay.
You know, the playoffs is always more interesting than a regular season.
Yeah.
And don't forget the virtual honeys, man.
Yes.
So Tony, thank you.
I keep my eye out for that with talent. I gotta really keep my eye out for the virtuals, man. For real.
A couple of things out there, man.
Tony, thank you for dialing in, bro. I appreciate you. We're gonna jump back into the conversation, man. Thank you for that.
No doubt. All right, y'all.
All right,
Good looking, Tom.
Thank you.
All right,
That's
fellas.
stuff right there.
So with that being said, like we said during the show, we allow fans to come in and they can interject and they can say whether they agree, disagree. They can tell us what they think and everything else. That's one fan, and then they can say, hey, this is what it is. We like what we see. So we're gonna jump back into the conversation now. We're gonna pick up. We were talking about, of course, as you said, I called them the Saints. I called them the Pelicans and everything else. Now I will move forward with the conversation and just say I'm personally and looking forward to the future of the Pelicans. Like they look bright, but Phoenix looks like, to me, on the onset, they have the brightest NBA future, I think. I mean, of the teams. Portland's not looking like they're going to add anybody. They're going to be what they're going to be. That's just my thought process. What's your thought process, Talent? You think who's your most exciting team to see next season?
Well, I don't see the Pelicans doing much, to be honest with you. I think what you see is what you get there. The depth to me is not there. Now, Phoenix, you guys got a stand-up argument with Phoenix because the depth is there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. When young guys, we know the formula to win. The formula to win is you got your young guys, you need a veteran or two that can kind of, show them the ropes as they do it, because young dudes practice jumping out of the gym and dunking and trick plays and stuff like that. The veterans know what it takes to win, the fundamentals, and you got to instill the fundamentals in them. So when I look at teams that bring in like a Zion, I think it's going to be a longer road before you get to the fundamentals with him, because he has all this hoopla around him. I think that was the exception to like a LeBron coming in the league. One thing you could give to LeBron, when he came in at that young, he was pretty mature. You know what I mean? He didn't get caught up in the hype and read his own press clippings and just be this flashy guy. He kind of was running the team. So I kind of get the whole point guard thing. But between those two teams you mentioned, I'm gonna put my money on Phoenix. And the jury's still out, with the Pelicans.
Okay. Who's the most exciting team for you to see next season, Fig? And don't say the Knicks, because we already know, not the Knicks. So who you got?
It's a family show. Stop cursing, man.
Yo,
damn.
I'm gonna make a prediction since you brought the Knicks up, because you must have been reading my mind, man. There's something there.
I knew you was gonna say that.
I say the Pelicans. First off, the Knicks is going to draft LaMelo Ball. That's the first thing. They're going to draft him, and then they're going to get they're going to get that boy from the Pelicans. Mm-hmm. They're going to get Lonzo Ball from the Pelicans, and we're going to have 2 balls. So the Knicks is
You know what? You know what? Hashtag me too, you bastard. Listen. On some realness, Fig, you going to something with the Knicks. So I really believe that AD is going to end up on the Knicks. AD is coming to the Knicks, bro.
Huh?
Remember I told you that. Remember Talent Nostradamus told y'all AD, Anthony Davis, is going to the Knicks.
Wow. Yo,
how's that going to happen? How's that going to happen?
Watch.
Okay.
Watch.
Really? Yo, we Knicks fans, we die hard, man. Yo, that would be what?
The fix is already in with the agent. That's where he wanted to go. That's why he didn't do no contract extension and all that. He going to ball out, and he's going to the big city where he can make the most money in endorsements.
New York, baby.
Okay.
New York.
Okay, last question of the show before I roll out of this show, before we start giving our pieces and everything else. Alex Smith, after being injured 2 years ago in the NFL, Alex Smith is trying to make a comeback into the NFL and basically trying to start this year. Now, we all heard about, in case for you, if you're sitting at home, you didn't hear, you didn't see anything else. Alex Smith's leg was so bad, he almost had it amputated. He's literally that bad. His wife helped him put together. His comeback, everything else was bananas. It is basically a story that people are talking about within inside the NFL circles. They talk about how miraculous it is because it's a miracle that he's even walking. This brother is walking. He is trying to get his starting position back. Fig Talent, which one of you all think that he should just say, that's it, I'm done, and leave it at that and walk away? Or do you agree he should continue in the NFL? I'll let you go, Talent, you first.
I think that the guy who knows best of this injury is Alex. And I think if he's attempting to come back, and not just come back, he won his starting job. So if he's saying that he won his starting job, I think the brother's healthy. You know, there's been these freak illnesses and ailments that almost take people out, and they come miraculously all the way back. Whether it's a leg, a heart, a lung. This guy, he's not crip walking. He just said, I want my starting job back. So he knows something that we're not privy to. If he's good enough, I said, why not? Give it to him. Give him a shot.
Right. What you think, Fig?
Man, I don't know, man. Alex Smith, if you see him, man, I don't know how many pieces his leg was broken into, man. His leg was like shattered.
Yeah, but he had it. The worst part was he had an infection, and they almost had to cut it. So they had one surgery. They had an infection. He had to go again, and then he had another infection. So he almost lost his leg. Like,
he got a halo. Yo, you see the halo around his leg, yo?
Yeah,
it's a halo. I'm like, dude,
let me tell you. So I was in the Bahamas, man, one time. And a barracuda swam by my swim trunks right around the front area and my groin area, right? But that didn't stop me. I came back and I started making love to women again. They almost took my thing off twice too. But here I am.
Yo,
crazy.
I can't with this dude right now, man. What are we doing?
Well, my point is, I came back and got my position back. I almost lost it twice.
All I'm saying is this: if I was Alex Smith, I wouldn't even go bike riding, let alone play football.
Basically. Well,
His leg was shattered, B. I'm like, if that is not a signal or a sign, if you ever needed God, I don't know if I should really be playing football and stuff, and then your leg gets shattered and almost amputated, and they're able to fix it so you can walk again, I would say that is a sign from God that, maybe I shouldn't do this. Why you want to play this game like this?
Hey, listen, man. If Joe Theismann could come back and be a hopscotch champion, he can play football. You know what I mean? Joe Theismann was a hopscotch champion, then he could play football.
There you go. But with that being said, it's time to wrap up the show. Tomorrow.
Already?
Yeah, but tomorrow we got Mike Hill on, sports broadcaster.
From ESPN.
Yeah, from ESPN. We got Mike Hill on. Looking forward to having that conversation. We want to thank Olden Polonese, 15-year NBA vet, for coming and joining us on the Cheap Seat. Yeah. Now, before we roll out of here, Fig, tell them how to find you, reach you, all that.
First, we got to talk about OP. Stands for he pays for other people's drinks. That's what OP stands for. He pays for other people's drink because he got that NBA money. But you can find F to the I to the G on Comedian Fig on all social media platforms. That's Comedian FIG on all social media platforms. Yay!
Talent, how we find you?
Hey, brother, Instagram Talent, the Comedian, one word. Twitter, I'm at It's Just Comedy. And on Facebook, King Talent Harris. It's just that simple.
Thank you. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for taking out the time. We will see
where can we find you?
Huh? Me?
Where can we find you?
I almost forgot that. Thank you. I appreciate that. Before you even try to find me, make sure you download the Humor Mill app. It's available on both platforms. We are on all kinds of devices right now. Again, it's Humor Mill, one word on some things, two words on other things. If you type in Humor Mill, believe me, you will see us. I'm Frank Holder. I'm the host. These two guys are New York's finest comics. We'll see you all tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern Standard Time, 10 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And tomorrow we're interviewing Mike Hill. Looking forward to that. Fellas, thank you all for that. I appreciate that. We'll see you all soon.
Peace.